The visitor at table 9. The space station floated quietly above the purple planet Cora 7. Inside it, the Galaxy Bites diner stayed open all night. It was a place where travelers from many planets stopped to eat, rest, and disappear. Zira, an alien, waitress from the planet Crixa, was cleaning table 6 when the door opened. A strange silence followed. The customers stopped talking. The kitchen robot paused. Even the lights seemed to dim a little. Zira turned around and saw something rare. A human had entered the diner. He was tall, wearing a black jacket and simple gray pants. His boots were dusty, and a small bag hung from his shoulder. His eyes were calm, but focused like he was always thinking about something important. Zira blinked in surprise. Humans were not common anymore. After the Earth Wars and the collapse of their colonies, most people thought humans were either gone or hiding, but this one was here, and he was walking towards Table 9. Table 9. That table had a strange history. A few years ago, a thief exploded there while hiding stolen tech. Last year, a bounty hunter disappeared from it mid-meal. Zira didn't like that table. No one did, but the human sat down like he knew what he was doing. Zira walked up to him carefully. She looked at him closely. No weapons, no tech implants. Just a normal-looking human. "Welcome to Galaxy Bites," she said. "You don't look like you're from around here," he smiled softly. "I'm not. But I heard your stew is good." Zira was confused. Of all the things he could say, he talked about stew. Still, she nodded. One space stew coming up. As she turned to walk away, she noticed something else. His hands were resting on the table, but his fingers moved slowly, like they were tapping. In a pattern, tap, 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 tap. She had seen this before. It was an old Earth code, Morse code, she thought. But who was he talking to? She went to the kitchen and ordered the stew, but her eyes kept going back to him. He just sat there, waiting, calm, too calm. The stew was ready in 2 minutes. Zira placed it on his table. He nodded and started eating. Then, something strange happened. One of the service bots nearby began to shake. Its lights blinked red, and then it collapsed on the floor with a loud crash. Sparks flew out. Customers moved away. The security droid rolled in, scanning for danger. Before anyone could say anything, the human stood up, walked over to the bot, and knelt beside it. Zira tried to stop him. "Sir, please step back. That's not safe." But he didn't listen. He touched the broken bot gently. He pulled something from his bag, a small silver device. No one recognized it. Not even Zira. He plugged it into the bot's side. Light flashed. Then, just like that, the bot stood up. Fixed. Not only was it working, but its voice changed. "Thank you for the upgrade, Commander," it said. Zira froze. "Commander?" The human smiled. "Just helping." He walked back to table 9 and continued eating his stew like nothing happened. Zira couldn't stop staring. Who was this man? The other customers whispered. He fixed it in seconds. That wasn't a normal repair. "Did you see that tool? That was an alien tech." Zira opened the security feed on her wrist pad. She replayed the moment, slowed it down, watched carefully. The human's eyes. They glowed, just for a second. A soft blue light. She paused the video. Zoomed in. It was real. She had seen many aliens with strange powers, but no human like this. He finished his food, stood up, and walked toward the counter. "Thank you," he said. "Good stew." Zira swallowed. "Who are you?" He paused, looked her in the eyes, and then said something she didn't expect. "I'm just a visitor, but sometimes visitors bring change." He dropped a coin on the counter. A golden coin with Earth's symbol, something no one had seen in decades. Then he left. Zira stared at the door for a long time. The coin still sat on the counter, warm to the touch. It hummed lightly. Back at table 9, the lights above it flickered once. Then twice. She had a feeling this was just the beginning, and for the first time in years, Zira felt something she hadn't felt since childhood. Curiosity. It was past midnight. At Galaxy Bites Diner, the purple moon outside the station flickered behind thick space clouds, and the neon sign of the diner buzzed quietly in the dark. But Zira wasn't sleeping. She sat alone at the bat booth, her eyes glued to the screen of her wristpad. She watched the recording. Again, frame by frame, the moment the human touched the broken service bot. The moment his eyes glowed blue. It wasn't a trick of the light. It wasn't a reflection. It was real. And the bot didn't just get fixed, it upgraded itself. Its voice had changed. It had said, "Thank you for the upgrade." "Commander, Commander?" Zira whispered to herself. What kind of human does that? Earlier that day, she had sent a copy of the security footage to her old friend Lurik, a slicer from planet Draxon, a professional codebreaker who once hacked a royal space yacht. Just for fun. Now, she was waiting for his answer. Suddenly, her comlink beeped. Lurik's face appeared on the screen. His expression was pale, almost scared. "Zira, where did you get this footage?" She blinked. "A human. He came in, sat at table 9, and fixed our broken bot with something." Lurik leaned closer to the screen. "That something is not normal tech. I slowed it down, ran scans. The tool he used doesn't exist in any alien database. It looks Earth-made. But also something more." Zira frowned. "Earth tech is old, rusty, useless." "No," Lurik said. "This one is alive." "Alive?" "Yes, it's like the tool thinks for itself." "And that code it left in your system, did you even notice?" Zira checked. Her screen flashed, "Unknown data signature, decoding in progress." A few seconds later, the code cracked open. A small glowing map appeared, showing star routes. And a message. "They're watching, don't trust anyone. Meet at coordinates E71 by cycle's end." Zira's heart skipped. Who was J? And who was watching? The next evening, the human returned. Same jacket. Same calm face. He sat at table 9 again, like it was his personal seat. Zira took a deep breath and walked over. "You came back." He looked up at her and smiled. "The stew was good." Zira didn't smile back. "You left a code in our system." He blinked slowly. "Did I?" "Yes, and a message." The human nodded, then looked around the diner. Only 2 customers were sitting far away. The place was quiet. "You're not ready for the full truth," he said softly. "But you're starting to see the cracks." Zira leaned in. "Who are you?" He met her eyes. "I'm someone who remembers what the galaxy wants to forget." Before she could ask more, a loud beep came from a nearby table. A Kaltari trader's communicator device began to spark violently. It glowed red, then suddenly popped open, releasing a hot surge of energy. "Everyone down!" shouted a voice. People screamed. But the human stood still. In one smooth move, he rushed forward, grabbed the device, and pressed both hands on it. A blue pulse shot from his palms. The device froze mid-explosion. Then. It powered down. Safe. Not a scratch on anyone. Zira stared in disbelief. That thing was about to blow up. The human returned to table 9 like nothing had happened. "Energy traps," he said. "Old tactic. Someone's testing how close they can get to me." Zira's voice shook. "Why you?" He took a slow breath. "Because I know things I shouldn't. Because I'm human. And because humans weren't supposed to survive." She stepped back. "But they say Earth was destroyed." The man looked up. "Destroyed. But not erased." Zira sat down across from him without thinking. "What do you want from me?" He studied her face. "Nothing. I want you to choose. You can forget this, go back to serving food, pretend none of this ever happened. Or you can follow the trail. Ask the questions. Find the truth." Zira swallowed hard. Outside, lightning flashed across the station's outer shield. Inside, Table 9's light flickered again. The human stood up. "There's a reason I came here. You'll see it soon." As he walked toward the exit, he paused and tapped once on the glass window. Tap. Tap tap. Tap. Morse code. Again. Then he disappeared into the shadows of the station. That night, Zira didn't sleep. Her hand kept tracing the pattern he tapped. She opened the recording. She watched his hands. Again. And just before the bot came back to life, his eyes lit up and the diner's screen showed one word: awakening. She looked at Table 9. The seat was empty, but something had changed. Inside her, a spark had lit, a spark that would only grow. Zira didn't go to work that morning. For the first time in 4 years, she called in sick. Not because she was ill, but because her mind wouldn't stop racing. Something about the human, his eyes, his strange tech, the message in the system, refused to leave her thoughts. She sat alone in her small cabin, lights dimmed, air thick, with questions. On the table in front of her lay the golden earth coin he left behind. It shimmered with a soft hum, like it was alive. Zira picked it up for the 100th time. She turned it over, and this time, she noticed something new. Tiny writing, almost invisible. She squinted, then gasped. It wasn't in any alien script. It was binary code. Zira opened her old tech kit and connected the coin to her scanner. It beeped twice, hesitated, and then began to decrypt the code. Lines of text flooded the screen, coordinates, signal paths. A strange pulse signature, but one phrase kept repeating: "They erased Earth, but not its memory." Suddenly, her screen froze, then flashed: "Incoming. Connection." Her heart pounded. A new face appeared, holographic, glitchy. Not lyric this time. This one was human, a woman, face scarred, eyes sharp. "If you found this coin, you are being watched. If he's activated you, time is short. Don't trust anyone, not even your own people." Zira whispered, "Who are you?" The woman continued, like reading from a script. "Find the next signal. Location, Bay 17. Use the passphrase, 'Human memory never dies. Don't delay.'" And then boom, a sudden explosion rocked the station. Lights flickered. The transmission vanished. Zira grabbed her coat and ran. Out the door, Galaxy Bites Diner was half destroyed. The windows were cracked. One of the booths had exploded. Table 9. But no one was hurt. And the human? Gone. Zira found the diner's backup server in the maintenance room. Barely working, she scanned for traces of his presence. One last data fragment remained. A single voice file. She played it. "You're stronger than you think, Zira. The code lives in you too." Her hands trembled. In her. What did that mean? Was this why he chose her? That night, she went to Bay 17. Just like the message said. It was quiet. Too quiet. She approached the door, took a breath, and said, "Human memory never dies." A light blinked. The door opened. Inside, the air was cold. The walls were lined with old Earth tech. Rusted but humming. In the center, a device hovered round, metallic, glowing blue. Zira stepped closer. Her skin tingled. Suddenly, the Tinto device spoke. "Zira Crixon, ID matched, memory key active. Welcome to Station Echo." Then it hit her. This wasn't just an old storage room. It was a hidden Earth archive, a place built long ago to protect forbidden knowledge. Images began to float around her. Old Earth cities. Wars, rockets, faces of humans, some smiling, some crying. And then she saw him. The same human from Table 9. But younger, leading a group of people through fire and ruins. Holding the same silver tool. Same jacket. A name appeared beneath him. Project Lazarus. Commander Juno. Zira gasped. His name is Juno. The same J from the message. But that wasn't all. Another file popped open. Her own face as a child. But she had never been to Earth. Or had she? Subject 07, hybrid program, memory locked, awaiting trigger. She fell to her knees. It wasn't just about him. She was part of it. A buried program. A secret hidden even from herself. The diner. The bot. The code. The voice in her head. They were all connected. Just then, footsteps echoed outside. Zira quickly shut the system down, grabbed the small Earth disk, and slid behind a storage pod. The door creaked open. Two figures entered, tall, armored, speaking. In coded whispers. They were looking for her. One of them said, "She's close. The hybrid's awake." Commander Juno did his job too well. Zira held her breath. They scanned the room, but the archive was now dark, invisible. They left. Zira slowly stepped out, her heart racing. Everything had changed. She wasn't just a waitress anymore. She was a key, a living part of a story that had been hidden for decades. She touched the coin again. This time, it glowed brighter. She whispered, "You were right. Human memory never dies." And now, neither would she. It started with the lights. One by one, the overhead lights in Dock Bay 17 began to flicker, then die. Zira stood completely still. The blue coin in her pocket began to vibrate softly. A warning. She had just escaped the Earth archive hidden beneath the bay. Her heart was still heavy from what she had seen, her own forgotten identity, Juno's past, and the truth about Earth's lost memory. But now, something else had arrived, something dangerous. She heard it before she saw it. Click. 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 Not footsteps. Claws. Metal on metal. She turned. In the far corner of the docking bay. The shadows moved. No, something in the shadows moved. Tall figure stepped into the light. Its body was made of black armor, its face a smooth mask with no eyes. Only a red circle in the center, glowing like fire. A hunter drone. Old Earth tech, twisted and remade by enemies who hated what Earth stood for. Zira's breath caught. The drone raised a long arm, and it hummed with energy. She reached into her pocket. The coin pulsed once blue to red. "Run." The message flashed on her wrist. Pad. Iran. The drone fired. A bolt of plasma barely missed her shoulder. Sparks exploded around her. She turned into a service tunnel, sliding through old pipes and wires. Her breath was sharp, fast. She needed to get back to the diner, to table 9. It wasn't just a seat, it was a beacon. And she needed him. Juno. Galaxy Bites Diner was in chaos. The power had cut off. The windows were cracked. Customers were gone. Only one figure stood inside. Juno. Waiting at table 9. He looked up the moment Zira burst through the back door. "They found me," she said, panting. "And they know about me now." Juno didn't ask questions. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a strange cube silver, glowing faintly. "Then we fight," he said. The wall behind them exploded. Dust and fire filled the diner. 2 hunter drones stepped in. Weapons raised. Juno tossed the cube into the air. It unfolded mid-air into a protective energy dome. The plasma blasts bounced off it, just inches from Zira's face. "Behind me," Juno ordered, but Zira had already grabbed a tool from the counter. A sharp kitchen rod with a power wire. She wasn't hiding anymore. "Behind you," she said, and swung. The rod slammed into the first drone's leg, sending a shock up its frame. It screamed a strange, robotic hiss. Juno followed with a blast from his wrist-mounted cannon hidden under his sleeve. It hit the second drone straight in the chest. Boom. Metal flew, but a third drone crawled out of the floor panel. This one, smaller, faster. It jumped straight at Zira. Too fast. She raised her arms to block, and then it froze in mid-air. Hovering. Her hands were glowing. Bright. Blue. Like Juno's eyes had glowed that first night. The drone dropped to the ground completely. Deactivated. Zira stared at her hands. "What did I just do?" Juno stepped beside her, smiling. You woke up. The fight wasn't over. More drones were coming. Zira and Juno retreated into the maintenance tunnels under the diner. He pulled up a hidden map on his pad. There's a hidden ship, he said. A safe place. Old Earth tech. We call it the Bickham Cradle. Zira nodded. Let's go, but deep down. She knew things would never be safe again. As they ran through the tunnels, alarms began to sound across the space station. A voice echoed across the halls. Security breach in Sector 5. Unauthorized hybrid detected. Target is female. Detain or eliminate. Zira froze. Hybrid. She whispered. They mean me. Juno turned to her. Yes, you're not just from Crixa. You're half human, Zira. You were part of Project Lazarus just like me. She felt the air grow heavy. I'm not ready for this. You're more ready than you think, he said. You just brought down a drone with your mind. She nodded slowly. What now? Juno smiled. Now we bring back the past, so the galaxy remembers who humans truly are. They reached the hidden hangar door. Zira placed the Earth coin into the lock. The door opened with a hiss. Inside was a ship unlike any she'd ever seen. Sleek, silver, silent, and very much alive. Juno stepped inside. Zira followed. Behind them, more drones entered the tunnels. The ship's engines roared. The door closed. And the cradle took off into space. Outside, in the stars, something awakened. Old satellites, forgotten beacons, ancient codes. The war wasn't over. It had just begun. It wasn't just a table. Zira had known that from the start. Table 9 always felt strange. Unlucky. Off. But now floating through deep space inside the cradle. Earth's last living ship. She was beginning to understand. Table 9 was never just a table. It was a signal point. A lock. A trigger. And she was the key. The stars outside the window moved like slow rivers of light. Zira sat near the central console, staring at a projection, her own DNA structure, spinning in midair. See that? Juno said, pointing. That code isn't from Crixa. That's Earth's oldest gene encryption. Lost after the planet fell. You're not just Crixan. You're also Lazarus-born. Zira blinked. I don't understand. You will, Juno said, as the ship dimmed its lights and played an old video file labeled only. Table 9, Origin. Node. The video began. A young Zira no older than 6 sat at a metal table inside. A quiet underground lab. The same table, same burn marks. Same 3-legged stool. Table 9. A human woman stood behind her. Kind eyes, firm voice, she said. Zira, touch the table. Young Zira obeyed. The table glowed faintly. Circuits hidden inside it came alive. Then the woman said, one day, someone will bring you back here. When that happens, everything you've forgotten will begin to return. The screen went black. Zira sat in silence. Her throat felt tight. That was Earth, wasn't it? She whispered. Juno nodded. Yes, and that table was moved to the space station decades later. Hidden in plain sight. Only those with your DNA could activate it. But why? Zira asked. Why hide it in a diner? Juno looked at her. Because no one would expect the most powerful signal point in the galaxy to be under a table where aliens eat stew. The ship pulsed. A softy eye voice spoke. Memory anchor unlocked, preparing system merge. Suddenly, the room filled with glowing symbols. They floated around. Zira codes, faces, stars. Her mind ached. Then, a flash. She was standing in a white lab again, but not as herself. She was younger, smaller, watching through the eyes of her past. People rushed around. Scientists, engineers, soldiers. One man knelt before her, his hand on her shoulder. Juno, younger, smiling, he whispered, if I don't make it, remember this place, find the table, save the code, and when it starts again, lead them. Zira blinked and snapped back to the present. Her hands shook. She looked at Juno, now older and scarred. You were there. In the lab, you knew me. He nodded slowly. I watched over all the hybrid children. But only 2 of you survived. You and me. Zira stood. The weight of her past pressed down, but something else rose with it. Strength. I need to go back, she said. Juno tilted his head. To the station? No, Zira said. To table 9. There's still something hidden there. We triggered the memory, yes, but not the message, not the final signal. Juno's eyes widened. You think the true beacon is still under it? She nodded. I don't think. I know. Later that night, under the cradle's starlight hull, Juno and Zira stood in the ship's command chamber. The screen displayed the space station. They had fled just 2 days ago. Smoke still rose from it. Patrol drones hovered nearby. But Table 9 was still there. Waiting. Zira turned to Juno. Why did you sit at that table in the first place? Juno smiled faintly. Because I followed a hunch. A map buried in my own memories. Something told me, go to Table 9 and wait. So I did. And you knew I would come, I hoped? They stood in silence for a moment. Then the AI spoke again. Beacon synchronization ready. Access requires dual memory activation. Zira placed her hand on the console. Juno placed his beside hers. The console glowed. Then a signal burst out into space. It wasn't just sound or light. It was memory, history. Proof. All the truth about Earth, the hybrid program, and the war that wiped everything away. It shot out toward the old satellites, the buried resistance ships, and the deep sleepers hidden across systems, far away. Someone woke up. Then another. And another. Inside the ship, Zira looked up at the glowing table projection. It had transformed. No longer just a seat in a diner. It was now a monument, a quiet hero of the war, a symbol of a memory that refused to die. Zira whispered, I thought I was just a waitress. Juno replied, so did I. They looked at each other. No longer unsure. No longer forgotten. Just ready. The silence was the first sign. After the signal was sent from the cradle, the galaxy didn't scream back. It just paused. Like the stars themselves were holding their breath. Zira stood near the observation window, watching empty space. No ships, no drones, nothing, just deep, cold silence. Juno stood beside her. They heard it, he said. The question is, who still remembers how to answer? 24 hours passed. Then it began. A pulse. Soft, subtle, like a heartbeat, echoing across space. One by one, old satellites came alive. Beacons long thought dead blinked red. Then green, a hidden signal repeated through space in an ancient Earth language. Memory confirmed. Project Lazarus acknowledged. Units responding. Zira stared at the screen. Lazarus wasn't just about surviving, she said slowly. It was about hiding. Until we were needed again. Juno nodded. And now we are. Across the galaxy, the forgotten began to rise. On a mining moon near Talvara, a worker dropped his drill when his old military tattoo began to glow. He looked up at the sky and whispered, they called, in the ruins of an abandoned Earth colony. A grandmother unlocked a chest she had buried 50 years ago. Inside was an old rifle, a patch with the Lazarus insignia, and a single name call on Zira. Inside the cradle, systems buzzed. Incoming transmission. The eye announced. A face appeared on the main screen. An older man, part machine, with cybernetic scars and a single living eye. He spoke in a voice like gravel. Lazarus Unit Commander Wren reporting. Still breathing. Still ready. Behind him stood a small army, men, women, and hybrids like Zira. Zira stepped forward. This isn't just about Earth anymore, she said. This is about memory, identity. We weren't just erased, we were made to forget. I say we remember. Juno smiled beside her. You were born for this. Zira turned to the cradle's console. Let's call them all. She activated the signal tree, a network of communication lines buried across systems, unreachable unless Earth's core code was restored. It glowed. Green. Alive. And then thousands of dots appeared on the star map. Each one a Lazarus survivor, a memory carrier, a fighter in the dark. But not all were happy to see the signal return. Deep in the shadows of a black planet, an old enemy stirred. The Erasure Syndicate, the same force that had destroyed Earth's archives, was watching. Their leader, known only as the Null, stood in silence before a screen. She activated the node. A voice said. The Null spoke just once, then we erase again. Back on the cradle, Zira was preparing her first broadcast, one that would go across all systems. To every survivor, soldier, and seeker of truth. She took a breath. Juno turned on the transmission. The camera glowed red, and she began to speak. My name is Zira Crixon. I once served food at Galaxy Bites Diner. I thought I was ordinary. I was wrong. I carry Earth's memory. And so do you. They tried to silence us, burn our history, turn us into myths. But you're not a myth. You're real. You're alive, and now you're awake. This is our time. This is the rise of the forgotten. The message. Played on repeat. It reached distant moons, rebel colonies, and ships buried in asteroid fields. Some wept. Some saluted. Some stood in silence, fists clenched. But all remembered. Later that night, Zira stood alone in the cradle's heart chamber. Above her, the stars spun like silver dust. She thought of the old diner, the stew, the broken service bot, the human stranger at table 9. So much had changed, yet one truth remained. The past always finds a way back. And she was its voice now. Far away, on a distant rock, a boy picked up a strange coin that had fallen from the sky. It shimmered blue. He held it tightly and smiled. The spark had passed on. The memory lived. The stars didn't feel cold anymore. Zira stood at the edge of the warship cradle, watching space stretch endlessly ahead. But this time, she wasn't afraid. This time, she was ready. Behind her stood a fleet of forgotten warriors, Lazarus survivors, awakened hybrids, humans and aliens who once served Earth's dream, all answering her call. No one called her waitress. Now they called her Commander Zira. But the title didn't matter. What mattered was the message. The memory, the truth, the light they had all carried quietly for so long. Finally ready to shine. Juno entered the bridge. He looked tired, worn, but proud. It's time, he said. Zira gave a nod. Let them see us. The cradle opened its hidden wings, massive energy sails once powered by Earth's oldest tech. The ship glowed gold, blue and white as it led the Lazarus fleet into open space. In the distance, the enemy waited. The Null, leader of the Erasure Syndicate, a being made of silence, shadow, and secrets. He watched Zira's fleet rise and said, only 3 words. She remembers too much. But Zira was no longer scared of memory. She embraced it. As the Null's ships launched dark torpedoes across the galaxy sky, Zira reached toward the core console of the cradle. Begin the override, she said calmly. Juno raised an eyebrow. Now? Zira smiled. Now, the cradle's energy core opened. Inside it was table 9. Not a replica. The table, the original signal node, the anchor of Earth's hidden legacy, had been built into the heart of this ship. And now, it was active. Zira walked to it like greeting an old friend. She placed both palms on its surface. The ship trembled. Stars realigned. Hidden systems roared to life. The fleet behind her sensed in perfect formation. Commander, the eye said, your memory frequency is now leading the fleet's tactical system. You are the signal. Outside, enemy fighters attacked. But this time, Earth's memory fought back. The Lazarus ships danced through the sky like lightning, Powered by emotion, memory, and something no machine could kill: belief, Zira took her seat at table 9. No armor. No helmet. Just memory. Just will. Her voice echoed through every ship. You were told to forget who you are. You were told Earth is gone. That hope is gone. But look around. We're still here. Because we didn't just survive. We remembered. The battle turned. Enemy fighters glitched. Their systems broke under the ancient Earth. Code Zira unleashed through the fleet signal. Old tech spoke again. Old courage burned again. Juno's ship pierced through the enemy command deck like a spear. The Null screamed. His shadow cracked. And then silence. It was over. Later, Zira stood alone in the heart chamber again. The table was quiet now. No glowing. No voices. Just wood and steel. She placed one hand on it. Softly. Double quotes. Thank you, she whispered. Behind her, Juno entered. It's done, he said. She turned. No, she replied. It's just beginning. Back on the old space station, long abandoned, now table 9 still sat in the ruined diner. Dusty. Cracked. But when the wind passed through the broken glass, the lights above it flickered, twice. Like a heartbeat. A child walked in. A new one, wide-eyed, curious. He sat at the table. Smiled. And then tapped. Tap, tap, tap. Tapped. The old code. And far away, the signal blinked green. Again. Zira believed it now. Not just in herself, but in memory, in legacy. In the quantity. Unstoppable truth that stories never really die. They just wait. For someone to remember.